decide the fate of thousands of children who are caught in divorce. Now, the tough decisions are often influenced by court-appointed advocates, but critics say some of these advocates are poorly trained and potentially biased. CBS Atlanta's investigative reporter Jeff Jericho found there is no agency watching over these advocates.
Not at all, Stephanie. So bear with me. This gets a little complicated. The story, the legal term for these advocates is guardian ad litem. They are attorneys sworn to look out for the best interest of children. Many of them do that, but some parents and child psychologists say some don't.
It's like being raped of your children.
Alex Higdon.
The mental anguish for both my children and I has been huge.
And Gracie Ortiz-Terrett have never met, but both say they were railroaded in court by powerful attorneys charged with protecting their children.
I'm the one who has lost custody of my children.
In an interview earlier this year, Terrett says Raina Nadler and Jeannie Kuttner were far from objective in their investigation. In court documents, her attorney alleges the women improperly communicated with the judge, dictated changes in her custody, and even yelled and shouted at and tried to influence Terrett's witnesses. And there's more.
They refused to meet with me. They refused to obtain any information from me. For a period of 90 days, they continued to work with the opposing party. And guardian ad litem just simply cannot do that.
We tried to talk with the Guardians after they didn't reply to 3 requests for an interview. And I'm Jeff Jericho with CBS Atlanta News. Can you click? One answered the door, but not our tough questions.
The opposing party recommended a guardian ad litem.
Higdon, a former Atlanta Falcon, tells a similar story.
Don Smith?
He says guardian ad litem Dawn Smith, seen here in a YouTube video, recommended changing his son's school and his custody before evaluating him. And Higdon says this 2010 email shows Smith lied to get the job. It appears to show Smith claiming she has no connection to or opinion on a group that opposes the autism treatments Higdon's sons were receiving.
Well, we come to find out she was actually on the board of that institution in 2004 and 5. She had a personal agenda that she was going to fulfill, and that personal agenda not only included her agenda of how she believed about autism treatment, but it included also about retaliating against me for giving her pushback.
Many of them don't know what they're saying, and it runs up the bill. There's no accountability. They're inherently biased.
Family therapist and expert witness Dr. Monty Weinstein says he's seen guardians often push to limit one parent's custodial time, which he says isn't healthy. He says guardians are highly paid but poorly trained in child development, biased, and potentially influenced.
Guardian ad litems would go with the law firms that give them, in many cases, the most business. So if the law firm is advocating, let's take this mother or father out of the picture, unfortunately, many times they'll find a rationale to talk to the judge.
Since there's no agency that oversees or licenses guardians, it's hard to know how big the problem is. The State Bar Association tells me it doesn't track how many, if any, guardians it has disciplined. Do you have any opinion as to whether or not there should be more oversight of guardians ad litem?
I think we have the appropriate oversight.
The state's child advocate, Tanya Boga, says she thinks guardians are largely honest and ethical and believes the court system weeds out the bad ones.
The judge can remove this guardian ad litem if evidence is brought before the court to show that this person is not engaging in their duties properly.
But Higdon and Terrett say the judge shrugged off their concerns, putting their kids at risk.
The children are not getting treatment for the underlying medical challenges.
And he just says he hates his life. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard that from both children because they don't get to see me.
Now, I've spoken to one man who says the court ordered him to pay the guardian $60,000. There is no proof that any of the guardians in this story were influenced by money. The point is, there just isn't an agency that can determine when it does happen. Dawn Smith didn't reply to any of my 4 requests for an interview.
Jeff, do these parents have any recourse at all?
Not really. Once the judge rules, it's really hard to change anything. Now, Alex Higdon is filing a federal lawsuit against both the judge and the guardian. And in Terrett's case, which is very rare, the original judge stepped down, a new judge took over and kicked both of the guardians off the case for bias, but I am told that hardly ever happens.
Are these people still guardian ad litems, the one you mentioned?
Yes, all of them still
all
are.
All of them still are. Jeff, thank you.
You're welcome.
There is a new plan in place to make